The purpose of this video is to address two other types of elasticities that we have not talked about yet. The first is what's called the income elasticity of demand, and that measures the change in quantity demanded in response to a change in consumer income. So price elasticity of demand measured the change in quantity demanded with respect to price. And this is analogous. So the income elasticity of demand is measuring that same change in quantity demanded, but with respect to a change in income. The second type of elasticity we want to consider is what's called cross-price elasticity of demand. And that's going to measure the response of demand for one good as a result of a change in price of another good. So you might be wondering, why would the price of one good cause demand for a different good to change? Well, remember from our supply and demand module that goods can be complements or substitutes. And so in those cases, the change in the price of one good will affect the demand for its complements and substitutes. But we'll get into both of these a little bit more here. So our formula for income elasticity of demand is very similar to price elasticity of demand. So we have percent change in quantity demanded in the numerator, but the difference is we have percent change in income in the denominator. And now remember back to chapter 4, which was supply and demand. We had normal and inferior goods. So normal good was one where when income increases, demand for the good increases. And an inferior good was one where income increases, but that causes demand to decrease. So what that means is for a normal good, the income elasticity is going to be greater than 0. And for an inferior good, the income elasticity is going to be less than 0. So looking at cross-price elasticity, our formula is similar to price elasticity of demand, but in the case of cross prices, we need to specify which good we're talking about. So in the numerator, we have the percent change in quantity demanded for our first good, good 1. But in the numerator, we're looking at the change in price of a different good, so we specify good 2. So again, I mentioned we have substitutes and complements. So in the case of substitutes, the cross-price elasticity is going to be greater than 0, which means the increase in the price of good 2 is going to cause an increase in the quantity demanded for good 1. So for example, an increase in the price of beef may cause an increase in quantity demanded for chicken, which is a substitute for beef. So in the case of complements, the cross-price elasticity is less than 0, meaning an increase in the price of good 2 causes a decrease in the percentage change in quantity demanded for the other good. So for example, an increase in the price of computers may cause a decrease in the demand for software, since those two items are typically consumed together. So real quickly, I want to run through a quick summary of all our elasticities to make sure we have them straight. So first we have price elasticity of demand, and that's the percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in price. And a general rule is that for necessity items, price elasticity of demand will be less than 1, and it will typically be greater than 1 for luxury items. And then we have price elasticity of supply, which is the exact same formula, except my Q now has a sub S instead of sub D, since it's quantity supplied. And then we have income elasticity of demand, which is the percentage change in quantity demanded with respect to a percentage change in income. And a rule of thumb is that normal goods tend to have positive income elasticities and inferior goods have negative income elasticities. Then finally, we have cross price elasticity of demand, which is a percentage change in quantity demanded of one good with respect to a percentage change in the price of a different good. And if those two goods are substitutes, the cross price elasticity will be positive, and if they are complements, the cross price elasticity will be negative. So that is it for all the material on elasticities.